Hi subscribers, I'm Peter and I'm responsible for all the coffee purchases we do in Colombia here at the Coffee Collective. I'm here to talk to you about 2 coffees you're going to receive in this monthly subscription. It's going to be 2 obviously Colombian coffees, one from a family-owned farm that we call the Enciso family, and one from an association of organic coffee farmers that we call Planadas. Both coffees are situated in the region called Tolima, which is situated right in the center of the Andes Mountains. And both are organically produced. One, as I said, is from the Enciso family, which is a farm owned by 3 people, a mom, a dad, and their son. And that's Wilson Rodriguez, and Edith, and Wilson Jr. They have a beautiful farm that has 2 peaks and a farm situated in between those mountain peaks. And there's a farm on those 3 places. The coffee they produce is mostly the Colombian variety called Colombia Reds, but also Caturra. They do a little bit of toffee and geisha as well, but it's predominantly those 2 main varieties. It creates this very, very beautiful, round, balanced coffee with a very nice astringent kind of acidity to it. Beautiful orange notes, a lot of florality as well, a little bit of orange blossom, and just a lot of cleanliness and a lot of sweetness, which is what we look for in that region in particular. As I said, this family construct is very interesting. It's not something you see in all farms, because the way it's set up is not only that they own the farm together, but they have 3 farms that they've combined as one coffee producing unit, and they divide out everything into lots specifically for each of the 3. So they know who's producing the best coffee, they know who's getting the highest pay. They still do all the finances together as one company, but when they, for example, participate in the Cup of Excellence, they put their own coffees forward and they get each of their awards themselves. So Edith, for example, back in 2006, won the Colombian Coffee Cup of Excellence with one of her coffees from her part of the farm called La Isla, which is the island. The way that they produce the coffee, so they of course hand pick everything is sorted, everything is picked throughout the months of May all the way until February. And they wash their coffees and they ferment their coffees about 24 hours after they dry that, and after they dry it for around 24 days approximately, depending on how the weather is, of course. We first got in contact with the Enciso family 2 years back, where I was really surprised and pleasantly surprised, you can say, about visiting them. The second time around here, I visited them back in October. I actually spent a whole day out there with one of my colleagues, Lucas, where they took us around the whole farm. We hadn't seen the outer skirts of everything. It's a rather big farm in Colombian standards. It's 15 hectares, so there's a lot of ground to cover, especially when it's on 2 different mountains and a huge valley in between. The coffee trees are beautifully situated with a view all over the valley. There's heaps of water. They have a natural spring running down through both mountains and in between, and that's also why Edith's farm is called La Isla, because there's water running all around it, creating this beautiful little island at the base of the mountains. Collectively, the 3 farmers produce this very clean, beautifully acidic coffee. A lot of notes of yellow fruits, stone fruits, such as oranges and a little bit of peach sometimes as well. It's very chocolatey still, and still has that depth and sweetness and body that we look for, especially in the Colombian coffees that we want to be very clean and balanced. But it also has this citrusy acidity towards clementine and oranges, with a little bit of orange blossom as well to it. Very, very nice and pleasant coffee. They can both can be interesting to your mom and dad who might not drink specialty coffee, but also for those who are really interested in getting something that has a little bit more edge and fruitiness to it. The other coffee you're gonna get this month's subscription is the coffee called Planadas. And the reason why we don't have a specific farm name for that coffee is because it's actually a collection of different farmers from this region near Planadas in Tolima. There's about just under 20 farmers. It varies a little bit from year to year, but it's an association that bulks their coffees together under an organic certification, and which means that they can sell coffees at a higher volume, which is what we also need. The coffee there is like most of the coffees that we buy in Planadas, are very sweet and balanced and clean, but with a really nice fruitiness that's very transparent all the way through the coffee. It has nice acidity, but it's not really sharp. It's very balanced. Heaps of chocolate, a little bit of caramel and toffee, honey, and of course also those orange notes that we really like from this region. All the coffees that we buy in Colombia are all, as a general rule, all washed. So all of them has been through a depulper, has been washed thoroughly, has been slightly fermented, either wet or dry fermentation, and then it's dried for approximately 24 days, in between 20 and 30 days. All of them are dried first on raised beds in shade, which really extends the period of drying. So you make sure that the coffee dries slowly, you preserve the parchment, but you also make sure that the coffee is slowly dried to preserve the longevity of the coffee quality. After that, it's moved to the final drying stage, which is mostly on rooftops. That's covered by a plastic, which makes sure that it don't get any direct sunlight, but it also makes sure that it's ventilated and kept at a certain temperature until you arrive at around 13% in humidity, which is what they aim for. And both for Planadas and for Enciso this time around, it both showcases the hard work that goes into the post-harvest production, also the harvest production itself of selecting ripe cherries, but also showcases this natural ability that this region in Colombia has to create these acidic, fresh coffees with very, very transparent orange notes and heaps of other yellow stone fruits. Enciso is a coffee that we already have in our coffee shops now. It's part of our yearly wheel of different coffees that go in and out of our menu depending on season. So if you really like that coffee, you can come down to a coffee shop, or jump on our web shop and buy more. But for the Planadas, that's very specific for you subscribers. We don't serve that in our coffee shops ourselves. So this is a very unique chance to taste something that you otherwise wouldn't be able to get. If you're wondering how to brew these, you can find brew guides on our website, where you can also subscribe if you haven't already, and get these amazing coffees through your door every month.